My first birth changed how I see pregnancy and delivery. So when I found that I was pregnant again, I knew exactly where I wanted to give birth. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about why I'm choosing a birth center again and why I think you should consider it. So just a little background, this is my second pregnancy. Last year, I gave birth to my daughter, and in fact, I did have her at a birth center. When I became pregnant the first time, I had no idea what a birth center was. I didn't even know I would end up giving birth at a birth center. So I just want to make this video to inform you that you have options. Your only option is not a hospital. And if you did some research and you're feeling a little iffy about hospitals, then this video is definitely for you. I think automatically when you are pregnant you think, okay, I'm going to be going to the hospital, my birth is going to go this way, that way, it's a medical procedure. What I've learned for sure, especially after my first pregnancy, is birth is not a medical procedure. It's a natural thing that your body is going to do. Whether you like it or not, even if you're home, that baby is gonna come out. So my number one reason that I did go ahead and choose a birth center, and why I think you should also consider a birth center, is 100% the staff and the environment. I say the staff because at a birth center, the environment is so intimate. You're seeing the same people in this small office, and you're literally going to be giving birth in that same office. So you're not visiting the office and end up at the hospital and then somehow meet the doctor there. I love that at a birth center, the midwives make it a very intimate experience. They try to get to know you during your visits, and they're just funny, they're joking, they're very lighthearted, and they just want to make sure that you know what's going on with your body. I also love that at a birth center, at least the one that I am working with here in Brooklyn, all the staff are women, and it just makes me feel comfortable because who knows your body better than other women? Not all of them have had children, but a lot of them have, and they just really understand what you're going through emotionally, physically, and they're just like non-invasive, very understanding to each person and their needs. And I think what I really loved going into the first time at a birth center, they made me feel like I didn't ask any stupid questions. They just constantly wanted me to have questions. They wanted to give me answers or just guide me towards the right direction. And then before you actually go into a birth center, they have an orientation. They want to make sure it's a right fit for you. And you'll see if you do decide to go to a birth center. I don't know if all birth centers are the same. I swear when I went to this orientation last year, they said everything that I wanted, and I just felt so in love with the place automatically. The biggest takeaway that I took from the orientation at that time from the staff was birth is a natural part of life. It is not a medical procedure. They don't treat it like a medical procedure. It's not a surgery that they're going to be getting ready to do. They're just there to experience this moment with you, and they're there for the support that you might need. I love that. I love that. And some of the midwives that I've worked with there, they always say they're not running a business. They wanted to feel very homey, and it's just such a wonderful thing to work with people that are there for you and for your emotional well-being, and just the understanding that your body is going to do this one way or another. They're just there to catch the baby. And now we're going on to number two. My number two reason as to why I would recommend a birth center. I'm someone that did crazy amount of research in my first pregnancy. And if you're someone like that who's just constantly on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, just looking for sources, and if the reason you're watching this video is to find that reason as to like what way can you get away from a hospital, if you're someone that wants a natural birth, if you're someone that does not want to be induced during time of labor, if you're someone that wants delayed cord clamping, if you're someone that wants freedom to walk around and not be confined to your bed at all times with things plugged into your arms, if you're someone that just wants to have full control of your birth, then I would say you need to choose a birth center. I've seen videos online of women talking about how when they're at the hospital, they almost get pressured into C-sections, or they almost get pressured into being induced because the nurses will say, or the doctors will say, they're not progressing on time. It looks like they're just like being delayed and it's going to cause a problem with the baby. I'm not saying it's not true all the time, but if you are someone that has a phone and a computer and go online, you'll see that a lot of the times these hospitals just do it for either a profit or they just want to go home on time. They just want to get things over with. A birth center is not going to treat you that way. And in a lot of cases, some women show up at the hospital very early and they may not be fully dilated as far as being able to give birth. Clearly, you want to be fully effaced before it's time to be able to push the baby out. Every woman's body is so different, but a hospital sometimes just treats it as you're not progressing well. It can take so many hours at times for you to be fully dilated to, I think, 10, fully like ready to push the baby out. That can take hours. I think I was technically in predominant labor, but for like 3 days, imagine, before I was fully effaced. I woke up that morning and walked a lot, ended up at the birth center, and I was fully effaced. So when I got there, I was ready to go. But even if I were not ready to go, they would have kept me there. They wouldn't have forced me to be induced or anything. They would have waited it out. But some women may feel that they are really in labor and are in labor, but sometimes they're like 5 centimeters dilated and so on, where the hospital will be like, you're going too slow. No, you might have just needed to walk around a little bit. You might have needed to do some squats and, just get your body moving. So if you're someone that just wants to feel safe and know that there's not going to be much intervention within your process of becoming ready to push your baby out, I would choose a birth center. And moving on to my third reason as to why I chose a birth center, especially as a first-time mom, a first-time pregnancy, you may need more support than just being able to give birth. And it's so much that happens. And the first time, your body is literally in shock. Like, you don't know what's going on. So what I love about the birth center is they provide you with doula services. They don't work directly with the doulas, but they have a place that they connect you with. And they give you really wonderful doula options. When I was first going into my first pregnancy, I'm a very, very anxious person. I overthink everything. I literally could catch a whole panic attack in my own brain by myself. So I remember I was just talking to the staff at that time last year, and they saw that I was literally stressing out, and they were like, look, I think it's best if you connect with the doula. They helped me reach out. I reached out, ended up working with the most wonderful doula who literally made my birth experience absolutely splendid. Without her, I don't even think I would have had such a good pregnancy experience. She was amazing. They massage you in the right places. They talk you. They remind you to breathe. They're just there with you with the whole process. Of course, you train your husband or your significant other during that time of like when you're getting ready for birth. You take those, you watch those videos together and so on. But men are only gonna be so supportive during your labor. Again, some men better than others. My husband was wonderful. He just kept getting me water, but getting me water is very difficult while I'm trying to just push out a baby. But a doula is so wonderful. And I'm not sure if hospitals automatically suggest you work with the doula, but at least working with the birth center, I know that they would suggest it, especially if they see you as someone who's not that confident in just fully doing that experience on your own. The midwives are there to help, but they're not a doula, right? So definitely love birth center for that option, that they actually give you that knowledge. And I speak to so many women who do not even know what a doula is. I didn't know what a doula was. The fact that they inform you of that service is so important to me, and I think you might be someone that needs a doula. I think even if you are the most strong woman out there and like so confident in your own technique on giving birth, the fact that you can work with someone who's just there for that real extra support, that extra push you might need when you really want to give up, that doula is going to be there for such mental and physical support. Let's move on to the fourth reason to why I think you should also choose a birth center. Many women deal with crazy bills after giving birth. Like, they charge you crazy amounts. It's so expensive, like $20,000 to have a kid. It's insane. But a birth center is so much more affordable. Even if you didn't have insurance, you're not breaking the bank. I think if you don't have insurance, it's maybe like $10,000. That's still half of what you're paying at the hospital. The hospital's charging you $20,000, $30,000. They're adding things that you don't even know like what it was. It's like crazy. But at the birth center, they are so affordable. Our bill was cheap. I was shocked that you could just have a kid for that price, because just doing all that research, like while you're having the kid, even when you're insured, like your insurance only covers so much. And especially, let's say you didn't even meet your deductible for the year, which is like insane. birth centers are so much more affordable. If you're someone that's been stressing a little bit about the cost of birth, definitely look into a birth center. Their pricing is so much better, I would say, and they don't, at least in my experience at the birth center that I went to, which I will leave the details down below for the birth center I'm working with, they're so transparent. One, when we got the itemized bill, it was like, oh, okay, that makes total sense. Like, it was perfect. No excess, no nonsense. I don't even think they charged us for skin to skin, which I heard hospitals charge you for skin to skin. You're touching your own baby, you psychos. Anyway, I think hospitals are insane. Choose a birth center. And my fifth and last reason as to why I think you should choose a birth center, and why I again chose a birth center this time around, they will not take your baby out of your room after you give birth to them. I heard some hospitals take your baby, go clean them up and get them ready and all who knows what, and then they bring them back to your room. I would be terrified. And I've seen videos with moms that actually, like, right after giving birth, they just get up and follow the nurses. They're like, where are you taking my kid? Whatever you need to do it in the room. If you don't want to go through that stress of like having to argue with this staff to say, leave the baby in the room, you guys can do all the tests in the room. They'll do all the tests while you're literally right there. Nothing crazy, just baby regular stuff that they do when the baby's born, little tests, making sure they're responding well. And that's it. Everything's done in your room. And then you just feel good. They let you stay there for a couple hours. They monitor you, make sure you're doing well and are ready to leave on time. So we stayed maybe after giving birth to my daughter 4, 5, 6 hours. I was good. They gave me some painkillers and I was walking around. But yeah, if you're really someone that considers that important and want to see your baby at all times, choose a birth center. Birth centers are so wonderful, and they literally follow your birth plan to a T. Right, a bonus for sure. If you're someone that's concerned, obviously, about, wait, what if my labor doesn't go as naturally as planned and there's an emergency? Well, they're connected right with the hospital, and they will get you into an ambulance right away, have you sent to the closest hospital. Actually, another bonus that I would say, just because I've spoken to so many other parents, and at a hospital, a lot of the times they will guilt the crap out of you to get your kid vaccinated. And I heard they make such a big deal at hospitals, at least in the people that I've spoken with. This is not my personal experience. I'm literally telling you what I've heard. And they'll guilt you like, you're gonna kill your baby, they need to be vaccinated, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, birth center, literally we told them, no, we do not want vaccines. And they're like, okay, just sign this paper saying you don't want to get vaccines. We signed the paper and we were good to go. Oh my God. So 100% I would choose a birth center again. I'm even considering a home birth. It freaks me out a little bit in a sense to do it at home. And one, childbirth is filthy. Oh my God. It's so messy. So I'm thinking, do I want to get my house like a complete mess while I give birth to the most cute thing alive? I don't know. I'm still considering it, but for now I am still working with the birth center. I am going to navigate a home birth potentially because I'm still in my first trimester. I know a girl who did a home birth and she said it was such a lovely experience. So I'm considering it. But yes, that is all for today's video. Again, if you're a mom, if you're a new mom, just figuring out how you want to go about your birth. If you're someone that already had a hospital experience and are like, oh my goodness, are there other options? I hope this video gave you a little bit of insight on my experience at a birth center. And just, you know, if you have any questions, don't forget to leave a comment down below and I will hopefully answer or make another video to follow up. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you guys next time.